It's no secret, since his release, Terrance Gangsta Williams' allies from the street are not happy with him. Let's take a listen at what Gangsta had to say about Hot Beezo.
This nigga heard me out there talking about woo, woo, woo. But look, we ain't gotta go through all that telling nobody about woo, woo, woo. When you see a real, you know what it is. I mean, I'm out shit, look where I'm at, homie. I'm on the scene, but I'm real and you gonna stay real. What's happening? Huh? This me, homie. You ain't much allowed back here. Only when you come back here, you can't come back here no more. You're not allowed, sucker. And it's me. Make sure you know. You see the face gang? You see that cross? No peel, sucker. Right early, bitch. You 195 of Washington.
GQ at the project.
Hang around here doing 95 of Washington, but you out of town to Magnolia. We don't know you. Wanna be hot.
Yeah.
Man, get out of here.
Yeah.
Why you go so hard at Hot Beezo? Like, what's the issue? Like, if you was to walk in the room and he was in the room, like, how you think that would go?
We gonna fight because we both come up together. And it's like when we were on the streets, when we were steppers in the streets, when we had enemies, it was like wherever we see it is on site. Where we in jail, wherever, because guys, he's a shooter, can you fight?
Right.
And I know how he is, so if we see each other, it ain't no talking.
If you don't know about the Terrance Gangsta Williams and Hot Beezo beef, you must have been living under a rock. Just when everyone thought it was over, Terrance Gangsta Williams would take to his platform to destroy Hot Beezo.
Let me show y'all how Hot Beezo can't think at all. At one time, I was his daddy. Now, Birdman is Paul. I let you know he can't think because he would have been made a documentary, movie, something, but he don't know what to do. You really can't fault him because he don't know no better. It's like the blind leading the blind. You know why? Because he's so busy like this. What way to go, son? What way to go? What way to go? What way to go? I was thinking, I said, man, that's hot. Hot let these little boys do this and this and this. Them little boys stand in their place, make you some good music. Yeah. Oh, yeah, do that. When you 50 years old. Hot Beezo is 50 years old and still taking orders. I'm supposed to have his own crew by now, have his own business by now, have his own. No, sometimes, you know what I learned? Sometimes people is not good with being a boss or having a crew. People good with being a follower, standing in their lane. And sometimes you got to commend him on that. He's standing in his lane because he's not ready to be a boss. Can't be a boss. I've been going almost 25 years and he's still in the same situation. But he's a little better because, at one time he was dissing Baby and P. But then, I guess Baby might have, come on, boy, I'm going to look out. Come on, let's get on the bus. I'm going to let you sleep up front. And, he jumped on the bus and been riding ever since. But let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all how Hot Beezo can't think at all. Hot Beezo was with me from the start of all this gangster stuff from the streets to the pen. Hot Beezo go home. Hot been out there making these little bunk raps, doing all kind of stuff, getting this crew, that crew, running from record label to record label, running from pillar to post, doing all this. And you mean to tell me, now one time that I say, Stunner up, give me a few dollars, or when Stunner gave him that money, disrespect him, slam that money on here, take this here, boy. Take that. When Stunner did him that, why you can say, you know what? I'm about to do a documentary. I was a hot boy. I was in the streets. I done been hit up, I'm about to do that's what I'm about to do. I might do a documentary on Hot. But anyway, so I let you know you can't think because he would have been made a documentary, movie, something, but he don't know what to do. You know why? Because he's so busy like this. What way to go, Stunner? What way to go? What way to go? What way to go? Come on, man. Get your hands off that man's eyes, first of all, Birdman. Let the little boy fly a little bit. That make us a little money. But nah, if you do that, Bird ain't gonna have nobody he can always fuss at and pick on. Listen, boy, you done got on the wrong side, boy. You think you running with the multi-millionaires, you about to eat. Nah, boy, you came on with me, boy. I got food stamps. I'm at least gonna make sure you eat. You gonna go to Walmart, you gonna get something to eat. But nah, man, bro, I'm the people champ. How you gonna come out with you giggling?
There seems to be no end in sight for the Terrance Gangsta Williams Hot Beezo beef, as both sides will continue to go back and forth over the internet. Someone from both sides needs to step in and squash this beef. The verbal tug of war is getting more serious by the upload. This needs to end before it spills over to the streets. Let's listen in to Hot's most recent IG Live that is allegedly aimed at Terrance Gangsta Williams.
We ain't on the internet. You heard me? He's on the internet. Come outside and play with her. We better not catch you downtown. Not catch you downtown. You heard me? I'm everywhere. You never there. You heard me? And I gotta go jump out and bust it. You heard me? G call, yeah. Play if you want. Man, ain't got to say nothing. It's self-explanatory. I ain't saying nothing. It's just me and you. G code reasons your vote. You heard me? That nigga. Once you cross Martin Luther King and Claiborne, man, you got to have your hat on tight. You heard me? Cause a young like that cross Martin Luther King and Claiborne. Look.
New Orleans, famous for the king cake. If you get the baby, the next cake is on you. The city where the locals know that food out the quarters is for tourists. If it's not the right bread, it's not a real po' boy. If you know, you know. The city where block parties are called DJs and the women shake like a salt shaker. The city where spinning the bin isn't a square dancing move. Street High Boys were a group of men from uptown New Orleans. This group of men consisted of Sterling, Gangsta, Dooney, and Mosquito. 3 of those men would lose their lives, leaving Terrance Williams, a.k.a. Gangsta, a.k.a. Giggity, as the last man standing. Giggity would later catch a Fed case where he would be given a life sentence. There would be 8 co-defendants on Gangsta case. 2 of these co-defendants would be Alton Patterson, a.k.a. Hot Beezo, and Donald Dyer, a.k.a. Blabber, both notoriously known for putting in work in the mean streets of New Orleans. Let's rewind to 1996. Dog food is bumping at the time. PNC and Wawilla was known for having that torture. The Hot Boys' names were ringing. Notoriously known for jacking and crushing, they were a force. Sterling Lofton, a.k.a. Hot Boy Sterling, would ultimately end up losing his life over a street beef with Skip out the mouth. The Hot Boys would be out for blood. Gangsta, who was about that life, would rock a t-shirt with Skip and his brother Cleve on it to the Riverboat Hallelujah, a party and concert hall located in the NO. The t-shirt would be spotted. Gangsta's ops would be waiting outside for him with them yappers. Gangsta, who was always smart and calculated, would be escorted to his car and mash out, throwing up the middle finger to his ops. This wouldn't be the last time that Giggity would run across his ops. Gangsta would catch Skip slipping on a payphone. Realizing how comfortable Skip had gotten, Giggity would let him make it. Hot and Gangsta would make a bet on who would catch and crush their ops first. Moving around in rental cars to disguise yourself from the ops is an old school trick that any smart and calculated hitter would use. Gangsta, who would slide in rentals, would give his rental car keys to Blabber. Out for vengeance and wanting to capitalize on the bet that had been made, Hot would manipulate Blabber to take him to the mouth. They would spot Skip and bust at him. Skip would get away. Skip will be locked up with Dougaloo, another known street figure from the Noya. Gangsters whose cell phone was tapped at the time would accept a jailhouse call from Dougaloo. A heated exchange of words would take place between Hot and Skip regarding Hot busting at him. Blabber could be heard in the background giving orders to beat Skip up. Unbeknownst to any of the men, the reckless talking would all be heard by the feds. It wouldn't be long before Gangsta would be picked up by the feds. March 6, 1998, while chilling at his mom's crib in the Noya, would be a knock at the door. That knock would be the feds. Peeping outside, Giggity would spot the feds geared up and ready for action. Having a history of being arrested for homicides by the state, Gangsta would believe that the feds were there for his brother. That assumption would be wrong, as the feds were actually there for him. Excited about the arrest they had just made, one of the agents would celebrate. When being questioned by the feds about firearms being in the house, Gangsta, in typical gangster fashion, would sarcastically tell them to do their jobs. It wouldn't be much longer before the feds would pull up to the mouth and arrest Skip. Let's fast forward to 1999, before Terrance Williams, aka Gangsta, would be sentenced. Giggity would be placed in max security for allegedly attempting to escape St. Bernard Parish Jail. While on max security, Giggity would run across Cleve. The year would be 2000. Giggity, who would be in federal prison at the time, would receive a visit from Skip's attorney. Gangsta would sign an affidavit agreeing that Skip was being bullied by Sterling. Sterling's family would still be unhappy with Gangsta until this day about the affidavit. Skip would ultimately be sentenced to 5 years for manslaughter. Hot, an official hitter from the streets, would also be well known throughout the city. Hot, who was known for running with Giggity, wouldn't hesitate to put in work himself. Let's take a look behind the cell doors of Terrance Williams, aka Gangsta. Giggity's attorney would use Rayford Edmonds' case to build an argument. Terrance Gangsta Williams will be rewarded a sentencing hearing. Blabber, one of Giggity's co-defendants, will receive more than one sentence reduction. Incarcerated, Gangsta would share all of his moves with Blabber. Through the midst of it all, Terrance Gangsta Williams would enlist the services of a jailhouse attorney, aka inmate with extensive knowledge of the law library, who will take their time to find loopholes. A signed affidavit will be sent to the courts confessing to Blabber and Hot's involvement in crimes. Gangsta will be transported to another facility for threatening to do bodily harm to the jailhouse lawyer. Blabber, who had already been caught discussing these same crimes on a wire being worn by an inmate, would years later take to social media to express his dislike for what was in the signed affidavit. Hot will be charged and convicted with misimprisonment of a felony. Hot will receive 3 years in the federal penitentiary. Alton Patterson would not like this at all. Hot would brand Terrance Williams, aka Gangsta, as a snitch who ratted on the dead and got him 3 years. Gangsta would take to his platform to call Hot out and troll him for false flagging, claiming multiple gang sets, and being treated like a child by Baby. This back and forth will be initiated by Hot. As years prior, Hot and BG would clown Gangsta about being a snitch at the beginning of BG's I Ain't Telling video.
The ratting on the dead, dog. Where they do that at? Telling on the dead, homie.
Hot will continue to go live on Instagram and take shots at Gangsta with IG pic profile captions. Gangsta, who was seen to enjoy the back and forth, would cash out on his platform every time something was posted about him. Terrance Gangsta Williams has said in his own words, he sat down at the round table and made the rules, and he broke the rules. Not looking for fake friends or to friendly Bob, Terrance Williams, aka Gangsta, has even stopped communicating with Baby. It is alleged that they are or may try to throw a monkey wrench in Giggity's plans for his documentary.
Why you go so hard at Beezo? Like, what's the issue? Like, if you was to walk in the room and he was in the room, like, how you think that would go?
We gonna fight because we both come up together. And it's like when we were on the streets, when we were steppers in the streets, when we had enemies, it was like wherever we see it is on site. Where we in jail, wherever, because guys can either shoot, but can you fight?
Right.
And I know how he is, so if we see each other, it ain't no talk.